So I chose this topic, emotional intelligence, a unique skill which everyone has. Why I chose this topic? Because I'm a sales and marketing person, and I directly deal with so many businesses, so many customers, where I feel like knowing them, connecting with them is very important before giving them any solution. So I every day come across with some experiences where I feel like emotional intelligence is important. The same way in our personal life, everyone is interacting with so many people in our family, in our society, with friends, everywhere, where also emotional intelligence plays important role. So I thought I should share with you my thoughts and we can have interaction, knowing your thoughts. So this is the topic, emotional intelligence here. I feel like emotions are contagious. The type of emotions we have, it changes the environment in a minute. I always ask myself, am I emotionally intelligent? Am I doing right? Am I feeling in the way it should be? So I ask a few questions to myself. And these are the questions to understand about emotional intelligence. Do I recognize the emotions I'm feeling? Can I manage those feelings? Can I motivate myself to get job done by my own? Do I have a sense of emotions for others and respond effectively? So these are the questions by which I try to analyze emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence? And Professor, in between, I would like to say one thing. Like I have made it more like a TED talk. As in the first class, we have decided to have a TED talk. So it is not like having many things in here, but yeah, I will be discussing more things. So, what is emotional intelligence? So it is the ability to deal with ourselves, and it is ability to deal with others. Daniel Goleman is the father of emotional intelligence, who deeply researched about emotional intelligence and write a lot of books on that research. And he said, like emotional intelligence has the two pillars. One is social and one is self. One is about our self emotions, managing our emotions, and another is managing others' emotions, social. So in self, it is like self-awareness of emotions. Our self-awareness, when it comes to self, it is adaptability. It is our adaptability to change. Like it is a flexibility, how flexible we are, and having the optimism, having confidence, being able to manage emotions, how we are managing our emotions. Because after all, it is first about ourselves. If we are managing ourselves better, then only we can talk about others. We can deal with others. So self comes first. Other than self, we can see like social, the social awareness. Because we are in the professional world, we are in the personal world, everywhere. We are dealing with social. So social awareness is very important. And social, we are stepping out and being aware of people around us, being able to connect with them. Connecting with them only makes us understanding them, and then only we can influence them. We can discuss with them. Apart from it, like in social, we can say communication, strong communication also a part of social, and the listening skills, which is very, very important, like how we are listening to others. It's not about like hearing, but listening, understanding them. So this is all about Daniel Goleman, social and self of emotional intelligence. Come. So this, I think this slide is my favorite slide. This says everything. because in our life there is two things, like we are living and we are working. So if we are loving our life and if we are working our loving our work, these two things makes the whole story for me and for everyone. So emotional intelligence plays the most important role in loving the life and loving the work. So, like, it changes our life. With emotional intelligence, we become more happier, we become more better, we are a more better leader, we become good in relationships, and we are a good decision maker when we are having good emotional intelligence. At workplace, it increases our adaptability, our flexibility. As a leader, it gives more happier environment, more satisfied employees. It increases the retention of the employees. It reduces the attrition and increases the productivity. So importance, there's a lot of importance. I am just giving a few of them, but at work and in life, both of the places, I find like emotional intelligence is very, very important. And I would like to share my story about my workplace. Professor, when I was in one of the organization, which is like the Age Makers, and here it is a training institute where we are English Improvement Training Institute, and we have to decide to merge with another institute. There are so many challenges in our career we all have found. So it was a challenging situation which I want to share with you, and how emotional intelligence helped me in this. So the training institute and another training institute was of MBA entrance preparation. So those both are a good institute in our area, but different area. But when we decided to merge together, I was in top management, so I was the part of taking decision, and which was a very hard and crucial decision for us. So we have gone through so many emotional emotional differences, and we have discussed so many things, and after that when we finalized to merge together, we have to manage our emotion, and we have done lots of emotional management with us, and then we controlled and we merged. And after merging, the most crucial part come about the social, because it was the self we were managing things, but when it comes to the social, when the two teams got merged, both the culture were different, both the products were different, both the we can say the philosophy was different of the two organizations. So when they merged together, there were so many team members having some conflicts. They are having some different thought process, having different work style, different software to work upon. So it took 1 year to smoothen this environment, but I found which we will be discussing further, emotional intelligence, by understanding their emotion, by doing their conflict management, by having good intentions, discussing with them, communicating strongly, giving them a purpose, focus. It makes us easier. It makes easier for me to get settled them. So emotional intelligence played very important role in that 1 year when it was a merger. So few facts related to emotional intelligence. Harvard did the study first. When they saw their students are succeeding in their career, so they researched how and why their students are succeeding a lot in their career. So after their so many years of research, they find that there are 3 most important things and facts for the success. The number 1 is IQ, which we all know. That IQ plays a very important role in our career and everywhere for the success. The second is the technical skill. It's not about like technology, but whatever technical skills we have, like finance, HR, in what domain we are. So these two things are like obvious for the Harvard research also, like IQ and technical skill. But what they find different is the third, which is the emotional intelligence, which played a very important role in the success of the career of students which they researched. And the more important is like 8% of the IQ and 8% of the technical skills. But for emotional intelligence, they find it is important when we adding emotional like IQ and technical skills, double than that is important as emotional intelligence. So they find like entry level emotional IQ plays a role, technical skills plays a role. But when it comes to the process in the organization, working in the organization, they find like emotional intelligence played a more important role. So this was the findings. So the most the facts to remember is emotional intelligence is very important, and the good news about it is it is a learnable skill. We can learn it because in IQ we know like it is difficult to improve upon, but emotional intelligence, it is learnable. It is a journey which we do every time, learn and improve and learn and implement. So, and it is rooted in neuroscience. It is a biology. So, understanding the biology, understanding the neuroscience, and practicing some tools, we can improve and increase our emotional intelligence. This is something about biology. We'll not go into more detail, but yes, we must talk something about science behind it. So as we see, like there is a one brain part like neocortex, which is the bigger cognitive system. It is responsible for executive functions like our creative thoughts, solving the problems, create and get new ideas. This is where our IQ, our technical skills, and our emotional quotient, everything is there in neocortex area. This is where we create and get good ideas. Like everything that thoughtful we are doing, which we are doing is through neocortex. And it's a bigger part of our area. As a human, we have such big advanced neocortex. Only human has this such a big neocortex. That's why we have our vision, we have our goal, and we have our good intentions. And when we wake up every day, we think like we have to do something good. So this is all about because of neocortex. But the another part which we have is a limbic brain, if we can say in the center. So this is the limbic system, which is very spontaneous system. And this system is about feelings, about emotions. This is where our survival instincts are there. Our fear, our protection, everything's come here. Sometimes if we got hurt, automatically our finger comes far because it's our limbic system works, and it works spontaneously. And you know the fact, at the time, the brain has the two systems, the cognitive system and limbic system. Either cognitive system is working or limbic system is working. When limbic system works, cognitive system is not working at that moment. So if there is some emotions just arising in our thought, so automatically sometimes we react. So it is because of limbic system, because the thought consciously we are having something in our thought, but something we do unconsciously or spontaneously that comes from limbic system. But by studying it, by practicing it, we can have controlled emotion and not superseding our limbic system over the neocortex system. It is better to not to hijack our neocortex, because otherwise the amygdala, and you can see the green part amygdala, which is the amygdala hijack. Whenever we are in any condition where we spontaneously react, that time amygdala hijack happens. Neocortex is not working that time. So how we are more poised, it depends on how we are more having our control over our limbic system. So the most important part is now here, we have to have the tools to improve our emotional intelligence. So these are the tools. Like emotional intelligence can be proactively we can improve, and even reactively, responsibly at the same time also we can improve. For that, experts have suggested these exercises. So the number one part is breathing. So we all know like breathing exercise either by for proactive purpose, we should every day we should practice yoga and pranayama which we all told. So it makes us very poised and calm and responsive. But at the time of any reactive action, that time also it works like breathing. And the second is focus. You know, every day we come across 60,000 thoughts, repeated thoughts. And from them, only 5% thoughts are present thoughts. Some are past, some are of future. So how much we make ourselves focus matters a lot. It gives us a balance of emotional intelligence. So focusing is the one thing which we should work upon. Respect to others is important, either it is children or elders, but we should have respect and love for them. And the most important and last thing is a gratitude, how grateful we are. Science and research shown like when we are grateful to someone, it gives us a secretion of hormone which gives us lots of positivity and it suppresses all the negativity. So how we practice gratitude, gratefulness every day, it matters about our positivity. And especially for gratitude, I would like to say like I feel grateful a lot in my daily practice. When it comes to like my, first of all, I'm grateful to my professor who has given me this opportunity to speak with you. I'm really grateful to you, sir. Every day, in the morning, evening, it happens wherever I have worked. All the time, when I do something, I remember, oh, I have learned this thing there. So it gives me that thankfulness to them, gratefulness to them. My daughter talks to me. She tells me, Mama, this is like we have learned today in biology or science. I recall my 10th professor and I said how they have taught us. Like we can, now also I remember all the things. So I'm really grateful to the organization where I have worked, my teachers, especially my parents, and every time I feel like I should be grateful to them. I do this thing very consciously. So this one thing about focus I would like to say here, breathing I would like to say, and gratitude for my practices. Breathing, I do every day pranayama, yoga, breathing exercises at least 2 times consciously. And another thing, I have a checklist. I made it. With checklist, I check twice in a day, maybe in the morning hours and at the night. The night is my 100%. I have to check it. And there I have checklist which is showing like, have I done today yoga? Have I done I walk? Have I enjoyed my my day or not? Whatever I have planned, did I did it or not? I have documented it or not? Whatever things I want to write, I have written in the checklist. So it makes me focused. It gives me whatever I want to do. And the third thing I would like to say about gratitude, you know, this is Mr. Dr. Sandeep Atre. He is an emotional intelligence expert and I worked with him 7 years, and I would like to give him gratitude for whatever emotionally intelligence right now I have. Credit goes to him. He is my mentor and I am grateful to him. This is my wall of my home. All the offices where I worked, even my partner worked, so we have put it at one place and we always see and feel grateful. My parents are here, my in-laws are here. I always love and I always remember them and grateful to them. This is my old home which we were living, and this is our new home. Both are in India, which we are living. And I am thankful to my parents and my companies. Because of them, we could do something great for our parents, our society and So every time, every day, I'm just telling like I practice gratitude. So and it gives me positive energy. This is also one of my wall where we add my name PAL, which is written with the family pictures, and it also gives me positivity. So I would just want to say, like practicing breathing, practicing focus, and practicing gratitude. It gives us emotional intelligence expertise, and it is a learning process, it is an improving process. It's not a one-day process, but it's a journey which is going on and going on. These are the references. And now I'm here to answer whatever I know a little bit.
I don't have a question, more of a comment. So, but before I worked in the field I'm in now, I worked in the mental health field. I ran group therapy sessions, and I worked in a partial hospital program. And you touched the part where you're speaking of gratitude. That's something that we would constantly teach and push, and you're right, it is teachable. And not only does it impact people's positivity, but it can change the way they perceive the world around them. Every day, if you just write down one or two things you're grateful for and you think about it, you're able to change that lens from half empty to half full. It really does work. There is science behind it, so thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing.
I have a question. So those pictures you had, those are at your office, like at your workplace? And as a reminder, so use it as a reminder, is that what you're saying?
Yes, actually I am really thankful to them, because whatever I am today, one is my elders, my parents, and another is my work, what I have done in this throughout the year. And it's not only my office and my partner's, my husband's office.
Okay.
So we both sometimes look together, maybe sometimes separately, but yeah, this is the wall which we have dedicated for them.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes I'm working and I'm typing and just my brain just like dead. You know, it's just like, okay, I just go to the computer, it's like I'm not productive, right? But consciously, right, I'll say, okay, you know what, I have to go to work, because now I got supervisors, I got other people, right? I was like, okay, I cannot think of anything. But my thing is, even sometimes you're trying to motivate yourself, it doesn't ever happen to you another time, just like, you know, your brain, just not what your brain wants to do at the time. There's really nothing. You can try to motivate yourself. You know, I know if you have a supervisor or a boss, you're gonna go around and say, hey, we got work to do. So at that point, you know, I don't know what else can you do as a form of, I don't know, motivation thing, self-motivation to get back to it. You know, sometimes if you're not into it, there's nothing you can do sometimes. I'm just saying.
I would like to say here, everybody is in the situation where they are feeling low, sometimes they are very high. There are many times when you are very high and you're having very good emotions and you have something good spirit. That time you should do some recording with your thoughts, like I want to become this and I have done this in my life. Whatever your stories are, which motivates you.
No, go ahead.
I will go with your choir, but before that I would like to say this thing. So if we have this 10 minutes talk or some 15 minutes recording, and we have some points written on our desktop or somewhere about our positive points, which we have in us, but sometimes we remember them, but sometimes we do not remember them. So whenever you are feeling like negative something or low, that time you must listen that recording. For that you have to do only one action, which you have to play that button. You do not have to remember, recall them, but just listening them, it will definitely give you positive energy that time. This is about personal, like my personal experience I am sharing. But if you talk specifically for the office, then we'll talk separately. We'll talk additionally. Are you talking only about
No,
office?
I'm just saying, it's almost like a burnout, if you want to say it's a burnout, just like your brain just...
Yeah, but in office you are talking
Yeah, we're talking about
anywhere.
I'm
Yeah.
just talking about the office.
Yeah, so when
you know?
you're burnout, definitely I'm telling you the same thing. Like it is because see, we all have goals. We all have long-term goal. For me, what works, I'm telling you. One thing works a lot with me. I have my long-term goal plan, and I can share that with you. Like I want to serve the society in the field of education and health. This is my bigger long-term goal. And always I remember and I have sticked some places, my goal. So when I feel something conflicting or something not good, I see my long-term goal. This is my long-term goal. I'm not talking about the short-term thing. But sometimes this goal cannot work. That time I listen my recordings, what I have done in the past and what is my plans. Sometimes so these are the things which I do to when I feel what should I do. Another thing I do, I have list of tasks written. Like I'm doing my work, I'm doing personal things, whatever I want to do, but I have pending tasks. Like I want to write a blog, I want to write a book. I am not, like I have so many lists. So sometimes I check that also. Is there something which I can do right now? One more thing I do, I have few hobbies like dancing, singing. If nothing works with me, I like to dance that time because I love dancing.
So you were
So
talking
these are
about
some ideas which I follow.
you were talking about a flexible job where you can get up and say, hey, I'm gonna go dance. I'm talking about like if you have hours, straight
Can I
hours.
comment on that? So
You know?
one of the things that works for me if that happens is going back to planning your schedule. Like for me, I know after I have lunch and during that 1 to 3 o'clock time, my brain is like, I am not good. Like I can't focus. I just want to wander around and drink water and eat snacks. So anything that I'm serious. So anything that I need to sit down and focus on, I make sure I do not do during that time. I get it done early.
Yeah.
I schedule meetings during that time, so I can kind of just drink water and listen and like eat snacks during my meetings. But like you have to be mindful of that's you. Some people really crash like around 4 or 5 o'clock, so like you don't want to wait to do all of your work that you have to like think about during that time. You have to know yourself and plan based on where your personal ups and downs
Because
are.
I got self-conscious about it, just like I got my coworker, she sits to my right, and just like we were typing, she was like, oh my god, my brain is not going. I was like, oh, I thought it was only me. So I feel like during the day, sometimes we just get those kind of burnt out moments, just like your brain is just like dead. You cannot function. You know, you're just like I don't know. And to get back to work so hard, even though you know you're self-conscious, you're trying to do work, but you're not doing any productive, anything good.
Do those tasks at a different time and see if you get the same result.
Yeah.
We've implemented like walking meetings and stuff too to try to change. Like sometimes when you just get outside the environment, it helps. It's not even taking and it's not even taking a break. I'll literally say to someone like, we're working on something, let's walk and talk about it. And sometimes just literally walking and talking about something versus sitting at your desk, it does refresh you. You get out of the environment, you get out of the rut, and it does help. We do that a lot. Just
Yes.
take a lap around the building and talk.
Yeah.
Means at least going out of that environment where you are
Reset.
feeling like that, going out of that environment.
Can I add something like to the Carl's comment? Maybe it's normal, you know, you sometimes you don't like want to do anything and you feel like demotivated. Maybe at that time you need to figure out what caused you to demotivate. You know, you not like to. And what I like to recommend is like which is I'm going to present in my presentation is like to create a mental space. So do the things you like maybe you can take a break like 10 minutes, go outside or play just a game, mobile. That will give you some mental space and you can, go back to work and I think it will improve your productivity and motivate you.
Yeah.
That is it.
I think it all ties in with what we're talking about, motivation, and I'm just thinking, when you're speaking, when Francis spoke 2 weeks ago about breathing, and most recently I've been taking some courses on that, and I did learn that the limbic part of the brain swells, and the neocortex will send the messages, but when that part of the brain swells, it blocks those messages, which was pretty interesting. So when you have anxiety or you have anger, those good senses aren't getting to where they're supposed to be. So when you talk about that, I think of now breathing. And she just brought it up again today. And this whole breathing it was so important. Francis got on it last week, and it's funny because it was just something that I've taken recently, and it's very interesting. And you hit on it today, where you can teach yourself emotional intelligence, which
makes our life more happier and like more healthier. So that's the most important for professional and personal life growth. Anything? More questions? You can ask something.
Me?
Yes.
Just a comment. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I do agree. Emotional intelligence is very important. If you're feeling pressured, stressed out, the best thing is always to take a break. Yeah, just go out, breathe. Then maybe that will can make a difference. Then you come back and continue. Yeah, maybe a holiday if if it's extending, if it's a maybe it's not just a one-day thing. Maybe you're having stress and it's not just a few hours of not being able to do work. You can
Yeah.
take a break, a week or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any question or comment?
I will comment too. But,
Yeah.
thanks for the presentation. I really enjoyed it. And I think in the beginning you made a point about having a fine balance between your rational side of your brain and your emotional side. And I think that's very true in our work environment because like I think people try to really extreme nowadays. You're either really objective and like realistic about things, or you're just emotional. It's like one or the other. But I think it's really crucial to have that healthy emotion at the core. But on the outside, you also gotta have you also gotta be realistic and objective about things to make those passion or your emotion into reality. So I think having that fine balance is very crucial in our work environment.
Mhm.